we were chatting about some stuff, and it was relevant to what I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So I said, Murph, you should come with.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a seat up here. This was gonna be.
This is quite the place.
Yeah, it's gonna be my future law office. And then the DOJ aggroed me, and I decided to run for mayor again. So that's gonna be on pause for a little bit.
Good old DOJ.
Yeah. All right. So
what's your take, Nino, on the DOJ?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the docket lately, but I am their enemy number one. Probably have been for the last 9 months.
Well, people have been putting feelers out to me, which is kind of why you're seeing me right now. And
For justice?
they're saying I should do something, but I don't know what am I gonna do,
Feelers out for you to do something. For justice.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like trying to become a justice is a worthwhile use of my time, by conventional means. So
I think it is. I think there's two things that are desperately needed. Number one is a bar association disjointed from the DOJ. Because lawyers are underdeveloped, not because they don't want to be taught, but because the DOJ has been delinquent in training anybody, and the lawyers are always going to be the last ones to see the fruits of any of it. And if there's no lawyers being trained, then there are no magistrates. If there are no magistrates, there are no judges. If there are no judges, well, the people at the top get to keep their position while being obsessively ignorant. So
I wouldn't worry about that, Nino. They've just been appointing people to full judge ever since I've been elected. Just random people.
I'm very aware. People that lose the election get the higher position. Absolutely idiotic.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get tossed to the side in in 3 months.
Say again, Murphy?
I said that sounds odd.
I'm not gonna mince words. The existing justices are not interested in fulfilling their role.
Are they green? Are they opportunists? Are they just trying to live the lifestyle with the easy access and all the perks? Like, what's the deal?
Literally all
trying to
three.
get back all of it.
Yeah. I think as it currently stands, Faulkner is the only individual active, but he's green. And requires guidance. Hart
He is a yuck bag. That's all there is to it.
Hart, he's also a bit of a puppy. So when Mama and Papa Justice seem like they're in danger, he'll start barking. But once he's calmed down and away from them, he's pretty rational. But he's green.
Faulkner? Oh, I think Faulkner's just he's not an honest individual. I don't like him at all.
Yeah, I think relatively speaking, the others are a bit worse. Hart told me 6 months ago she wanted to be impeached. So why she still holds the role is, I don't know. She had 0 hours
she never wake up?
0 hours on duty in 3 months. Weiss is literally just an extension of the old director under her mandate with 0 of the skills. And, well, let's just say that when we had the meeting with the justices, I remained quiet and let him, deep throat his own foot for 3.5 hours so that everyone around could see what we've been dealing with. And I think it did its job. He's a liar. His lies will be so, blatant. It would be at the level of me looking at you, Moose, and being like, I mean, like, Murphy, I've never seen someone with a clown mask on before. You know? I've never seen anyone with an orange tie. It was that bad, that meeting. Like, we had evidence. We had his quotes. We had his signatures on documents that he claimed he never had any pot in. You know, that kind of shit. And then you've got McNee, which honestly I think is a genuinely good person. And when I say good person, like, I want to be very clear here. I mean, my level of saying someone's a good person is they've got that moral compass in them that knows that, like, look, there's a reason we have a justice system. I think he has that fiber in him, but the problem, he has no backbone. If you ask him honestly about matters that happen in front of him, he will not lie. But in the face of tyranny, he will remain quiet. So if the role did open up to you, Murphy, I think that it would be valuable to have somebody who has the experience, can understand college level English and grammar, because that's been a huge problem. Genuinely, we half our legislation is like junior high school level of reading, and we get stuck in God knows what kind of fucking debates. But more importantly, understands and can advocate for the people and not strictly for the police department, which is kind of how things have been the last 9 months.
But it's not worth my time if I'm just going to get stonewalled by a bunch of people that I don't know and, like, actually have never met. You know what I'm saying? So is it a clicked up unit of solidarity, or is it like how
yes.
should I say it?
They speak. They usually have one speaker that speaks in the third person, so you don't actually know if they're speaking on behalf of the DOJ or themselves. But it turns out after you speak with them for hours on end is that they never speak on their own accord, but as for the whole. But you can never tell when, like, the mode changes. So you end up in these, like...
I'm going to be blunt with you, Nino. In my experience, this shit just doesn't work out when it's clicked up. I don't like it.
No.
I think that whatever the Supreme Court is, the judiciary, should not be a bunch of people who are friends who are going to watch each other's backs.
Agreed. Not that you have to hate each other. You got to work as a team, but like, support understanding the laws when there's questions. But it shouldn't be people. The one group of people who stands together in City Hall in a circle and talks for hours on end, and then, though that's the only group that's involved in the DOJ.
I think that I think it's very important, as someone who's fought the most of the battles against the DOJ. I would not. I cannot say what they are or whether they are clicked or why their mode is the mode that it is. It would be pure speculation, right? So, I don't know why it functions, why it does. I can only speculate. But I do see
it's
that...
pretty simple. The judges and the justices are here to provide due process and afford people their rights as best can be accommodated at any given time. That's pretty much about it. To keep things flowing in a way where there's possibilities and options. It's not to have some sort of fucking unilateral power over the rest of the fucking thing. And I don't know why it turned out that way. I don't know why they were allowed to create their own enforcement arm in the first place.
I want to be careful with this conversation because,
it sounds to me like all they've been doing is stepping on everybody's toes.
Yes, absolutely.
Has anything been mentioned to you about what Murph just alluded to?
No, this is actually the first time I'm hearing it. The offer you're referencing.
Which thing that I was referencing?
Well, Moose is... I don't know what Moose is referencing.
Oh, well, when Murphy said he doesn't know why they have an enforcement arm in the first place.
Oh, yes. Well, as of about 3 hours ago, they no longer do.
Yeah. No longer power over the marshals or the Department of Corrections. They're independent bodies now.
Oh, well, that's a start, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm mostly interested in getting background from you, Nino. I don't want to yap forever. I'm mostly trying to absorb information right now. So like, let me get some feedback from you for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you and I probably could have a good hour-long background sesh. There's a lot to unpack. But I want to make sure I don't lose sight of what you wanted to chat about there, Moose. What brings you up here?
I talked to Princess about this. I don't know Marty, so I haven't talked to him, but after the election...
Actually, can you give me 60 seconds? I want to think about just think about something real quick. Smells like some hot coffee coming my way.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm going to think for 60 seconds, too.
That hot late Friday night coffee.
Given that we had a major victory today, I don't believe in kicking a dog while the dog is down. So you're not going to see me jumping too much onto this. All right. Sorry, Moose, go ahead.
He was thinking about something too.
Oh.
So let me just throw this out there real. I got floated an offer to potentially be deputy mayor in the north. What do you think?
Oh, that was not the offer I thought you were alluding to.
I don't know what offer was being alluded to or whatever.
Yeah.
That whole bit confused me. But as opposed to DOJ, like what does a deputy mayor even do? And I understand you work pretty well with the princess, so I'd like to hear that.
Brother, I think you and I
Moose is back.
You and I need an hour, Murphy.
Right.
Yeah. You gonna be around tomorrow?
I could be.
Yeah, we're gonna. Things are very, very different now, in a good way. So,
all right. I'm interested to hear. That's
okay.
I'm on like day 3 right now, Nino, of
just
Detective Murphy, like just interviewing contacts, and I'm sure you know what I mean when I say like my network is a fucking shambles. So I'm like, it's slow going. I don't have the resources that I used to find things out.
No, understandable. The simple long and short of it is, mayors, deputies, your legislators. So when you take a look at take a look at City Hall on the government website or the legislation tab, most of that's written by a handful of folks. So a lot of debate, a lot of legislative writing. Kind of taking the bar degree and going to the next level up. So you become the destiny of what legislation, penal code is for the county and for the state. So, but what that entails and the hurdles, that's why we probably need about an hour, because it goes deep. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give it over to Moose then.
Okay.
Since I think he's with us.
All right.
Yeah. I'm just chilling. No worries.
I thought he's offered. Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I was hoping to chat with you about, is, like I said earlier, I got elected to be a judge back January 20th. The two people who lost to me got promoted to become judges without, going through an election, and they'll never have to be running in an election again. They are full judges now. Despite, never waking up, they're appointed. They're good.
Yeah. And you weren't the first round. That happened
correct.
That happened the, season before that too.
Yes. Yep. And then even in this since then, Judge Gates got promoted to be a full judge after, she was a lawyer for a while, and I had never run into her in law profession, but she's also dating one of the justices, so that helps. And now I guess there's been another one who's been promoted to become a judge, without ever running in the election. In fact, he didn't even, I don't even think he had no bar license even. He's a former cop who got fired for stealing some stuff. Yeah, Ma, I think is his name.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he's a judge?
Yeah, he just got appointed as a magistrate.
Oh, as a he got elected in
an election. Nope, they appointed a magistrate. They can appoint magistrates.
No. That's not true.
That's what they saw. Huh?
No. He was appointed because there was only two people that entered into the election, and he won by de facto.
No, he didn't run the election. Myself and Jaina ran. Only us two, so we both won this round again. He never ran. He's 100% appointed. So he will never have to run. He's a judge until he gets impeached. Whereas I'm going to lose it. Now won.
There's not a single thing that these motherfuckers have written themselves and then followed. It doesn't. I don't understand. Okay, it's fine, Nino. We won a lot of battles these past 2 weeks. All right. It's hard for me to imagine. Just look, I told myself this, that look, a major battle was won 3 hours ago. I don't want to kick a dog while it's down, but holy fucking shit, is there anything that they themselves have written that they've actually themselves followed, both in terms of what's in writing or what the spirit of what they're writing was? It's crazy. Don't get me wrong, we need more judges. But holy fuck, it's not difficult to just update your legislation and then do it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what's the point?
Their legislation states that they're allowed to appoint a magistrate. My frustration is that I win 2 elections. I'm not even allowed to meet any of the justices. And at the end of 90 days from Sunday is the end of my second term, and I will no longer be a judge because they do not like Moose. They do not like the fact that I'm a clown and that I sit on the bench alongside them. And I think that's bullyuck because I've done a very good job as a judge. And the fact that this consolidation of power means that friends of friends, even ones who were fired from the police force for stealing from the armory, above me in the rankings in the Department of Justice, is an absolute sham.
It's just senseless criteria.
So my question was,
it goes back to the whole clicked up problem.
Yeah.
I will say that I think it's fair for me to say that I've delivered on my promises. At least I'd like to think so. Right? Penal code. No one thought, I was told. I sat in a 3.5-hour meeting. I was told they're going to work with us, only for them to walk into another room and be so out of touch that in front of one of my own people said that they weren't going to do a thing. They act in bad faith. And the entire thing audited. It's getting rolled back. The DOC.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Rolled back. And trust me when I say that we have an entire 4 weeks of legislation and audits waiting to hit the docket. And I hear you. I do. I think the entire system's cooked. When the DOJ, the entity that must exist it must function. If it doesn't function, we all lose, right? And I recognize that there is a critical flaw because it is by and large the disciples of old. And it will be resolved. But that's all I can say for now. And you'll see what I mean in probably the next week or two. We're just making sure things are paced out. Now, just to be clear here, so no one gets any ideas, is that we're going to make some legislative moves. What happens at that point happens at that point. But, I have been aware of this issue for a minute. Ava was a part of my cabinet. Archibald was in my
Ava's
cabinet.
Fantastic.
They're great. I mean, and I am aware of the plights that they went through and the trouble that they went through. And I recognize that the way that things are set up today, and this is the problem with the DOC and the marshals, right? And I'm going to use this as an example, is that they themselves in legislation wrote that they needed a unanimous vote to get a new director or DOC. We have a tax-paying population of about 450 people, right? Those 450 can't, like a 5 random sample size isn't going to unanimously agree. Imagine a judiciary that does. That doesn't make any sense. That's like a self-mask off moment or a self-report that you work as a political party. Because who unanimously agrees? As a justices. You should be naturally dissenting, right? Are you going to pick on...
Constructive and productive dissent is how you arrive at actually useful findings.
Agreed, 1,000%. And so if that was their mode by which they picked, it wasn't ever going to work, which is why we haven't had a warden for God knows how long or a director for like fucking 5 months. But the reason I bring that up is it's inherently the same problem with the structure that they wrote up themselves, right? Is that they unanimously bring in their own justices, which means you're only going to bring in people that agree. Who you're going to unanimously agree on? What, you're going to unanimously agree to bring in like somebody that very much disagrees with you? No, you're going to bring in people that believe in your ideology, right? Their ideology. Bring in, but in your philosophy, in your way of talking, in your way of everything, right? And then what does that mean? You then unanimously are going to be picking the same kind of judges. And that those that the people themselves put into power, into place, to say, we want you to rule over us, such as you, Moose, or Ava, or Archibald, or actually Archibald, I don't know, won the election, but you get my point. And then you have no
Grayson?
forward movement. Grayson. Oh, brother, I was witness to it all. I was witness to Grayson. I'm going to say it publicly is that he made a ruling on hot guns based on law, and he got bullied, he got tarnished, and in front of the PD talked shit about by his superiors. And then they came to me and they're like, we're going to fix this with case law. And I'm like, that's not case law. That's not precedence. They didn't even know what the fuck that was. And I had explained it to them, right? So they had the audacity to do these things. And so I've seen it.
It is not a judge's job to impose their ideology onto the goddamn city. That's
yeah.
And it happens too much. They get into certain people get into a position of power and they say, you know, I like it here, but it could be a little bit better if it was more like, you know, my opinion of the way it should be. I think people should go to jail for way longer. I think people should go to jail for way less time. That's not, no, like that is for the legislators and for the citizens voting interest groups, you know, the PD, the civilians, whoever, to come and feed that information like, oh, violent crime is out of control, we need to raise the fines. And then, you know, whatever gets put forward, the DOJ is meant to decide only upon whether that is legal and just, and to make it achievable.
We needed more of you, Murphy. But unfortunately, we had, you know, whatever the cartoons are nowadays. Like, what is it? Dora the Explorer, except with a judge outfit. You know what I mean? And, you know, Snoopy the dog with his judge outfit. It's, you know, this is definitely a holy fuck, another adult. It's a legendary Pokemon. You know, it's what you're describing right there, Murphy, is like common sense to adults, but has not been common sense with what we've had to deal with.
And my concern on a DOJ approach, to keep it short, is that I don't think there's any way that I will not be seen by reputation as a disruptor, or even possibly someone who's there to cut throats.
Trust me, you're look, brother, I've been the 9 months, I've been the fucking devil. Trust me when I say I don't think there's anything you could do or say that's going to make you look worse. So, there is a lot of battered and bruised scars on all of us. But I do think that one thing, despite how resolute I am, how confident I am in some of these statements that I just made, I think the majority want to see things get better, and that doesn't mean anyone's got to get fired or any irrational thing like that. But the system in which individuals can rise up through merit should be able to rise up to the top so that there is dissent. And I don't want to go into too much of the details as to what we've been brewing, but I do think that when you see it, it'll make a lot of sense. It'll make a lot of common sense. And I'm not talking about some like haphazard, you know, president level of response where I'm just saying things. It's already written down. It's just, and it's got weeks of thought behind it. So,
I think that sounds like basically what I was hoping to ask.
Yeah.
If you would, again, once you get elected, if you would look at, like, I think it's
already written, brother. And we've had it done about 3 weeks back.
I think it would be a shame if after 2 times I've been elected to be a judge, because the justices don't like that I wear a clown mask, because they've literally had nothing legislatively wrong with any of the work that I've done. They've talked to me about no fault in any of my rulings, and they're going to throw me aside. And the only reason I could come up with is they don't like the fact that I have a mask, or when Falconer calls me and doesn't want to speaks to me like I'm a 4-year-old, I tell him he can call me back when he's ready to speak to me like an adult and hang up. Because I'm not here to, I don't wake up and come to this city to be talked to like I'm an idiot. I may sound like an idiot. I may look like an idiot.
Hey, you and I had our beef, remember?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I was wrong, you know? I think very quickly I realized you were one of the most intelligent lawyers that were in San Andreas. I think
appreciate that.
I think a lot of people forget that we have a lot of diverse opinions and walks of life, and there is a demand that everyone think the same, right? I'm a loud motherfucker. I like to call things dog shit. I like to tell people they're dog shit. That's just the way I am. Doesn't mean that you have to accept it, right? But still, you know, I don't expect everyone to be the same. You know what I'm saying? But I will say, you know, once again, this is something that we have thoroughly talked about, you know, in my office, and we have a very comprehensive approach to resolve this for the betterment of everybody. And I think once it is presented, it will probably come with some flack, but I think we're going to win at the end of the day, because there are two tools that allow every form of government to be self-accounting. The first is impeachments. The second are ACRs. And therefore, and the third is the democratic vote, right? And I think some elements of our existing government have forgotten that these tools now exist. And they think that things need to be managed by appointed powers. No, it's not true. If there was a means by which people were put in a position and they held that a position until A, they stepped down, or two, they were impeached, the system is self-resolving. If you go do something illegal, there's an impeachment method. I can file it. The marshals can file it. Someone that sits through your court case can file it. And if the problem is egregious enough and the evidence mounts up, it gets reviewed by state officials and they make a decision, right? And by having that system, it allows for that diversity of opinion and whatnot, and allows the city to evolve. It allows the government to evolve with the city, because things change. What was true a year ago is not true today. Will be true a year from now. You know, will be different then as well. You know what I mean? So it's new tools. A lot of people just got to get used to it. You know what I mean? And understand the paradigm's a bit different. I mean, you remember Murphy back in the day with Coop? You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's thinking about Coop.
That motherfucker, like Kim Jong-Coop, used to come out, right? Do all kinds of wild shit. But it was a different times back then.
I was just telling Moose about how strict it was with the judges in the old days, that Coop would yell at them for buying nice cars. There's limited supply.
Yeah, that's true.
Money, we don't need cars. What are you doing? This is bad look.
And then I told him to import in the fucking, the Mercedes Jeep, and then he gave it all to the fucking judges. That son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was
a nice car, though.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah,
I appreciate you.
You know what, Nino? The main problem is so many people who have come into the city, wet behind the ears. They want to be given something that they can say that they're all about, and they don't want to do what it takes to get there. That's the big problem, because sometimes they actually get given these things, and then they're green and they don't know what to do. They do the wrong thing. They don't have guidance.
That's what's needed right now, is the guidance, genuinely. Like, I despite all the grievances I have, I still can sit back and recognize, having history on my side, right? Is knowing that I don't think people intend to do wrong. It's that when sometimes you're put in a position and you don't have the knowledge, but you have to show strength. You show strength backing ignorance, right? And that can become a shit show really fast, right?
And someone could be forgiven for thinking that someone like me or you, Nino, get given some sort of opportunity or whatever, hypothetically, out of favoritism or legacy or anything like that. But you and I both know that that's not accurate. It's meritocratic. We know how to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say that there's definitely some within the DOJ who fall outside of the excuse of ignorance or needing some guidance, because with the things that have been said to me and the behaviors expressed towards me, I've reached a point where in my first term, I talked very closely with some friends about just not waking up, just yuck it.
Oh my God.
Constantly yucking on you.
I didn't know it was this bad.
Judge emails and in person. And they're the people who are supposed to be, working with you to help you learn how to do your job as a judge better. It's just, those people are not acting in good faith and just out of ignorance and need some guidance. They're just not valuable people. I don't know how to say it other than that.
Waste of resources shouldn't be happening.
Yep.
I don't want to pick that too much, but what do you mean? Like what
well, we
like
have,
what's what
we
was
have we have a judge's email, and I was told it's supposed to be used for questions, okay? So sometimes cops calls Moose and says, I don't understand this. And I say, I'm pretty sure I know, but I got to double check. So I ask a question in the email, and instead of, getting a response, it's accusations. Why would you do that, Moose? I didn't do anything. I'm asking a question. How come you're asking this question instead of this question? Why aren't you doing, just talk to me like a human being. And the only one of everybody who's talked to me like a human being has been Nathaniel Grayson. He is, I posted some very poignant questions because I didn't understand the interpretation of the law. So I asked why it was written the way it was. And I got Falconer yucking on me, Danielson, Gates, like attacking me for not understanding it. And after a few minutes, Grayson responded, and him and I had an excellent conversation and ignored the three of them who were just attacking me the whole time. Grayson explained the history behind it, what the words meant that I didn't entirely understand. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. That's what we're supposed to do as a Department of Justice, is support and ask questions. But they all accused me of, doing some very corrupt things within the city that I had nothing to do with, instead of talking to me about what the rulings meant, or I don't know. I've been in a very rough place.
There's so many types of organization, whether it's a business or like a gang or something, where somebody's shitting on their subordinates, treating their peers as competition, and kissing the ass of their superiors is the way to go. That's not the way it should be in a collegial, sort of academic focused environment, a thought space for
100%
law and legislative review. You're supposed to have a discussion ongoing.
Jesus Christ. Very few people understand what it means to put your name on a ballot and then have to fight for people to trust you to protect them and their interests. And I know that, having gone through that, I know that what it must have felt like putting your name on the ballot. I think up against like 7, 8, 9. There was a lot of contenders when you put your name up there, Moose. And you won.
Yeah.
And that was not you being... You were put up there because the people wanted you up there. And people need to recognize that they put their trust in you, as they put their trust in me, in Princess, in the decisions that were made, and that power, that voice is always going to be louder than anything else. But rest assured, Moose, you're not the only person. Hey, I'm at the boathouse right now.
Still in your meeting?
Yeah. Just come on up.
Okay, bye.
You're not the first or the last who's shared an experience similar to this. Like, I've heard Jaina, fucking poor thing, right? I know she's kind of... She does some wild shit. She does wild shit. I know she does. But the thing is, she doesn't mean bad by it. She means quite good. And quite frankly, I'm surprised she's lasted as long as she had. I've seen what's happened to her. I've seen her in front by her subordinates get yelled at to an audience. That kind of shit makes my blood boil. I know what that is. I know what that feels like. I remember being that little kid trying to work the docks for somebody and just getting chewed out in front of everybody. Why? Not because they wanted a corrective measure, but they wanted everyone to know the power that they had over the other individual. And I know what that actually means. And unfortunately, I was the mayor. I'm still the mayor. But, even though part of me wanted to leap over the fucking table and gut the fucking bitch because of what she did to Jaina, I had to bite my tongue. And she's also not the only one. There's many more like that. Like I said, I'd say another 2 weeks, and you're going to start to see a better solution get presented, and I think it's going to need all the support by the people to make that dramatic change that we're going to be recommending.
Fair enough. And if there's anything you need from Moose to talk through whatever the change is, or support on the street, I just want to see what's best for the Yuccan City, because when we got people who are bullying and disrespectful, Department of Justice is more than just a bunch of judges and justices. It's responsible for the rights of the citizens, and if the rights of the citizens aren't held in line, people don't want to live here. If they're going to be bullies like that, people are just going to move other places, and we need a healthy Department of Justice that's supporting the city.
I very much share that opinion. It's a conversation that I have to deal with even the police department as well, is that they have to, understanding what their authority means over others and what the limits of that authority are. I will say that the biggest area of help I'm going to need, and this is going to include other things that we're going to be introducing here. I'll give you a bit of a preview. RSPC, consensual encounters, California traffic stop law, where law enforcement needs to indicate what their reason for detainment on a traffic stop is. We're going to start introducing those things, because I realized, and it took me 9 months to realize, that I can't make people hold their own people accountable. But what can keep people accountable is law. And outside of this judicial change we're going to be aiming and pushing for, I'm going to be spending most of my first 30 days to introduce a lot of basic laws that do not exist in San Andreas. And the biggest effort and help I'm going to need is letting people know what their rights are, so that they themselves are empowered to protect themselves. And if anything egregious does happen, they have a means by which they can seek, what's the word? Not compensation, but let's just say recourse.
I was toying with the idea of bringing back the old law school and see if Murph was interested. I've started posting educational summaries on our Twitter every day, but I think it would be valuable to bring back a little bit of a law school that, not like teaching judges or lawyers, but in terms of educating the populace. Murph was part of that back in the day, weren't you?
Yeah, I came up with a whole outline in legislation for law school. It got lost in the sauce after all the troubles.
I was thinking about trying to bring that back. I wasn't even going to worry about asking the Department of Justice. I'd just do it as a civilian, because anything I ask them to do, it'll just blow back on me.
Yeah, and if you bring up a law school, the justices are going to insist that they get to set the curriculum, but then they never will. So that's why we don't have a law school.
Do it my yucking self, but I'd appreciate if you want to help, Murph.
Hey.
Or if you already want to do it, you can do it. It's fine.
I'm not making any commitments just yet. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get working on it.
Okay.
And that's to the point of what we've been talking about is I don't even really want to practice law unless I feel like it's not so shaky.
It's not ready yet for you, Murph. Trust me.
Like, I don't want to go to court and have some stupid.
You're gonna have an aneurysm. I listen. We go way back, Murph. I myself don't want to practice. Not yet. But I do think where your hand would be valuable is on something even more, which is legislation. Making laws make sense for everybody.
Does Marty have a chance of winning this thing?
I think it could go either way. I think Marty's got the passion. That's the problem. Yeah. I will say that Princess is transparently has been the most impactful mayor. Worked very well with her office, written the most amount of legislation. She signed the most amount of state legislation than any other mayor prior to her in the 3 weeks that she's been in office as interim. I think Marty's got the passion. I don't think he quite recognizes yet that the mayor is effectively a hyper, like, lawyer. You need to be a hyper lawyer. Like, genuinely. It puts... I spend 80% of my day talking law and writing and being a part of hundreds of pages of reviews. But we'll see. We'll see what the polls look like.
Who's your deputy mayor?
Oh, I don't believe in deputies. I have a very flat structure. I have my cabinet's pretty large. I think it's got about 10 different people, but each one has been trained to facilitate their sector. One runs the entire court center. One runs all business ventures. Michael's my main legislator. We got so it runs pretty deep. But that's like 9 months of effort. People have come, people have gone. Some are judges now. Some are lawyers. 2 are cops. Tilly's a cop now. He's about to get hired.
Yeah, no, I kind of hope Princess gets elected. Deputy mayor could be
really. You're working with that'd be that'd be good. She's very intelligent.
The thing is, DOJ is you get to a certain echelon of career and you can't really go backwards. It's like I've been a justice pretty much, so I can't really go back to being a judge. And I'll be honest, like, to even want to do anything, I would want to just come in as Chief Justice and clean house. That would be the only thing that would make it enticing to me to go back to the bench after my experience.
Right.
Basically getting set up with a garbage case by
what the fuck?
Adams.
Hello?
The police, I think. Maybe. No.
Hello.
Yes. No. Yes.
Hey. Hey, can we help you?
Oh yeah, there was a key under the mat.
Oh. Yeah.
You guys really should get something different than the rock that looks like a key that's not a key.
I asked her to
but it's a
pretend
rock.
she was raiding the place because I thought it'd be funny, but this is the worst pretend raid.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Show me all your money.
Okay.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's kind of out of the bag now.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Perfect.
All right.
I will not say a word.
We're just
Did I just bribe somebody?
all right. Yeah.
I didn't hear it if you did.
What? Nice place.
Yeah. It's yeah, I've been using it a lot more recently. It's away from everything. All right.
Better than being outside where some clown could show up and do something politically motivated, huh?
Oh my God, Jesus. Well,
set a wedding on fire.
Oh wait, what happened at Ember's wedding? I didn't make it.
Oh, twice, or some fire twice.
Yeah.
During her wedding.
Oh my yuck.
Oh, who'd she get married to?
I actually don't know. I was just
JoJo is her name. Joanna.
Oh,
She used to be a psychiatrist.
She
might still be, actually.
Oh my God. Well, Murphy, give me a call tomorrow. I can give you a bit more of a lowdown. Moose.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Trust me when I say I think you're going to be very impressed. It's very comprehensive. What we're slapping together.
Never done me dirty, so I trust you. I'll wait and see how she goes.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate your time, though. I really have been going through it the last 3 months, and I really like doing the work of a judge, and I'm trying my best, but it's hard when everybody's really incredibly disrespectful when they're supposed to be on you, supporting you to learn. But I'm not giving up yet.
No, don't give up.
Until you care about the right people in this, Moose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Your heart is in the right place.
It always has been.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Hey, very few people get out of a situation where they're caught with a gun in the middle of a quote-unquote gang shootout, lose their buy license, get it back, and become voted in as a judge. You know? So.
Also, very few people whose heart is in the right place and who's unselfish, survive everybody else. You know, like.
Not wrong.
It's tough.
All right.
It's tough.
Hey, is somebody's ashes in that vase?
Wait, which one?
Appreciate you, Nino.
With the angel. Somebody's ashes in that vase.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to put it somewhere, right?
Kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right. Oh, my God.
Your car, Nino.
I just borrowed this one. I think it's Tilly's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still talking to her. Good to know.
No, she left
for
it at
3 days.
She left it at the fucking courthouse. So I left my vehicle over at I left it at May's Bank.
I got Peter's
Oh, you're the one